on WMUN 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, highlighting the Cardinal teams, administration, alumni, and community. Now here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
And welcome in on a Thursday morning here on WMUN. It is This Week in Ball State Sports on a Thursday, November 13th. Make sure to check us out on replays on This Week in Ball State Sports. Just search wherever you get your podcasts, and we got you covered there. Each and every episode is there. We're also live every Thursday, 9 to 9:30 right here on WMUN. First up today is head coach Mike Uremovich of Ball State football. We'll have director of athletics Jeff Mitchell join us a little bit later as well. Coach, thanks for joining the show this morning before practice.
Be outside today.
You're going to be outside today? That's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
There was a little bit of snow this last week to deal with during the practice schedule.
That's why we have the beautiful indoor facility we get to practice in, and we'll go out today. And it's supposed to be nice for kickoff, so hopefully we get some people out to the game because it's going to be maybe one of the last nice days of the fall.
Man, I was hearing maybe 65 degrees at kickoff.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible after the snowfall that we had last couple of days here in Muncie. Coach, what have the last couple of days been like for your squad after the win against Kent State and the mini-bye again before this one against Eastern Michigan?
Yeah, it's been good. We got a couple extra days to prepare for Eastern Michigan, which always helps and gives you a little more time to spend on the situational stuff that you usually only get to once during the week. We were able to do it all twice with the 10 days. So today's our last day of practice, and then tomorrow will be the walkthrough, and we'll be ready for Saturday at noon.
And it's also a good time to get some guys a few minutes of rest throughout the week because of everybody, like you said last week, nobody's fully healthy at this time of year.
No, it's college football. It's a battle of attrition. And so over the weekend, when we did have the, quote, extra days, we did rest some of our older guys or some of our guys that were beat up and could use a couple extra days to get ready for this Saturday.
Coach, what impressed you most about the resilience of this team against Kent State in that 17-13 win?
I just think that our guys all year have played hard and they've played to the end, and we've been successful at winning games in the fourth quarter, which is something we talk about all the time, and we were able to do it again last time we played, and obviously we're hoping to continue that as the year goes on.
Yeah, it was 10-0 lead for Ball State. Kent State came back, took the lead 13-10. The defense made some pretty spectacular stops in the game too, Coach. Joedrick Lewis, 3 straight games now with an interception. We talked about it a little bit the day after the game. Now that you've had more time to digest the game in this situation and how the defense performed, have there been conversations with the defense of just we need to take the ball away more? Has it just been more of a patience, we know it's coming situation like it has the last 4 or 5 weeks?
We talk about turnovers all the time on both sides of the ball. It's what we start our meetings with almost every single day. It's a key to winning football games. And I remember us talking earlier in the season, and we hadn't had any. I mean, we weren't getting the ball, and it's one of those things you don't want to bring it up too much because then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But we talk about just shots on goal, which is punching at the ball and then, ripping the ball out. And we chart those in practice. But turnovers kind of come in bunches. So, you might go a couple weeks without getting them, and then you start getting them. And, we also count for our defensive stat purposes, 4th down stops as turnovers. And we had several of those as well in the game, which obviously changed the field position and get you the ball back.
You mentioned shots on goal. Have you been talking with Coach Stutz over at soccer about that?
No, we don't. We have not. But that's just what we call it, and they tally it up. In training camp, we get a number every day of, defensive shots on goal. The first guy's going to wrap them up. The second guy's going to come in and try to punch the ball out. And we do that, obviously, for 2 reasons. One is to create turnovers for our defense, and 2 is so our offensive guys have to go against that every single day and have good ball security.
Hey, Coach Mike Uremovich joining us, Ball State football after the win against Kent State last week, previewing Eastern Michigan and the final home game of the year. That's incredibly weird to say. Already the last home game of the season, Coach.
Yeah, it goes fast. But we're excited to play the last one. Excited for the seniors to play their last game here.
Eastern Michigan's on the docket from an offensive standpoint. Noah Kim at quarterback's been able to lead that group. They're 3-7, but to me, at least, Coach, it seems like that record's a little misleading for what Eastern Michigan does. It seems like they've played better. What have you noticed when you turn on the tape?
Well, he is a very talented quarterback. He's leading our conference in passing yards. He also can run. former Big Ten player. He's very talented. And they are way better than their record. I think it's 5 one-score games that they've come up on the short end of that they very easily could have won all of those games, obviously, when they're one score, including an overtime game. So it'll be a very competitive game. They'll challenge us offensively with the quarterback, his ability to run and throw it. And defensively, they play a lot of press man coverage and really challenge your receivers and get up in their face. And you have to win one-on-one against these guys to be successful throwing the ball.
So Noah Kim, the quarterback, he has 15 touchdown passes this year. 9 of those have been to 2 receivers combined. Is there a way to try and stop those 2 guys without giving other guys matchups one-on-one, focusing on those guys, or do you have to kind of just play it drive by drive?
It's way easier when they got one guy that's caught them all. You know what I mean? Then you can focus on that guy. But they have several good wide receivers, and their tight end obviously is included in that group. Like I said, they're talented in that the guy's catching the football, but it all starts with the guy throwing it. And he puts the ball in a good spot and gets the ball out on time. He doesn't sit in the pocket very long. They've given up very few sacks. And if he doesn't like what he sees, he'll get out of the pocket and make plays. So we got to contain him, and we got to try to get to him.
And he's also one of the leading rushers in terms of touchdowns this year for the team. Actually leads the team with 5 rushing touchdowns. Only has 17 yards per game, so it's not like he's running wild as the main rusher on a given drive for Eastern Michigan. But, Coach, he's in the end zone quite a bit. What's that balance like of making sure that once they get to the red zone of balancing, okay, he might pass or might run here?
They're like a lot of teams, even teams that don't run the quarterback much. When they get to the red zone, they try to get to the +1 run game to try to get better numbers, whether it's a read zone or a naked that he'll keep instead of throwing it and run it. But he is a threat to run it. And obviously in the red zone, they use him a little bit more.
So they're passing combined with their rushing. You mentioned that Kim leads the conference in passing. Their leading running back on the season, Dante McMillan, has 823 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns, 82 yards a game. How are you trying to balance what they do passing and what they do rushing? Because this is a team that can do both.
They can, and then their backs are physical, and they break tackles, and they run downhill. And so you really got to be successful on first down and try to force them into, obvious passing situations. When it's 2nd and 4 or 3rd and 3 and they got their whole playbook, it's hard to defend when they can run the ball, they can throw the ball, the quarterback can keep it. And they've moved the ball on everybody. So we just have to, like I said, we got to keep the quarterback in the pocket, and then we got to get a couple turnovers, which we've been able to do the last couple weeks.
Head coach Mike Uremovich joining us live on This Week in Ball State Sports, talking Ball State taking on Eastern Michigan. The final home game of the season already coming up. 4-0 at Schumann Stadium this year. Coach, it's a noon kickoff on Saturday. We'll have pregame festivities at 11 o'clock on WMUN for pregame, and then kickoff coverage on WLBC from a radio standpoint. But when you look at this final home game of the year, what have you learned about home games at Schumann Stadium this season?
Well, we've been pretty successful at home, and our guys have done a nice job finishing games. It's been fun to experience being in front of the home crowd here and all that. But really, it just comes down to this game at this point. None of the other games that we played here have any impact on this one, and we need to go out and execute well on Saturday starting at noon. And we've had time to prepare, and I obviously like our game plan, so I'm excited to watch the guys play.
With 3 games left in the year, man, how do we get to this point?
I'm just worried about this one, man.
I mean, true. It's just time is flying by. We're moving quick. Ball State taking on Eastern Michigan Saturday noon kickoff at Schumann Stadium. Check out ballstatesports.com for all of your ticket needs before the game. Coach, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. We'll talk soon.
So I've been trying to use the word of the day.
Oh, yes.
I read the definition 4 times, man. I don't know how to use it. I can tell you how to block a blitz or power or pick up anything, in the pass game, but I don't know how to work that word in. So you're going to have to do it, I guess, at some point today.
Exoteric. That is the word of the day. Steve Lindell had left this for us after his show right before us. Suitable to be imparted to the public, belonging to the outer or less circle, external.
Yeah, I read that 3 times. I still can't use it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out as well. The example is the High Sierra is exoteric. So that's where we'll leave it today. I think that Steve is the wordsmith, and you and I will stick to sports.
That sounds like a plan, man.
We'll let you stick to football. I'll stick to talking.
All right. Appreciate you having me on.
Always, Coach. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
That's head coach Mike Uremovich of Ball State football joining us on This Week in Ball State Sports. I think Coach and I may have just told on each other about our ability to develop new words in our vocabulary, but we'll have fun with it. Exoteric, if you have a way to use this in a sentence, feel free, send us messages because this is a good example. Thank you, Steve. We'll leave it there. This Week in Ball State Sports continues with Jeff Mitchell next.
Behind every strong hip and knee. Behind every strong shoulder.
Good catch.
Behind every strong team is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Next guest up, Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Thank you to Coach U for using the word of the day, at least trying to. And I leave it to Steve Lindell, of course, to have that word of the day all nailed down. But Jeff Mitchell is up with us here, Director of Athletics. We're talking a lot of Ball State sports here, Jeff. Appreciate you joining the show. Hey, Jeff, do you have us there?
Got it. We
Awesome.
got you.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. You?
Everything's good. It's been a couple weeks since you and I have been able to catch up on what's happening in Ball State sports. What's your world been like the last couple weeks?
Well, it's been a little wild. A lot of moving parts as we get into the overlap season of our fall sports and our winter sports, and there's been a lot of competitions, a lot of travel, and a lot of preparing for all the things coming up here in basketball season, and as we get ready for men's volleyball season as well.
Yeah, that's coming up really fast. Men's volleyball season, gymnastics season, almost in the heart of all of that. Basketballs are in full swing. Great win last night for Ball State women's basketball. That was a pretty big statement win at home to start the year. I think everybody's been wondering what this team is going to look like, Jeff. But from your vantage point last night, how did you see that team capture that win?
Well, I think our team is very athletic, very savvy in terms of making what coaches would describe as basketball plays. We're starting to cut down on some turnovers. I mean, we played a frenetic pace, both offensively and defensively. And I think early on we were a little too quick, and that caused some turnovers. But it was working in terms of the pressure we were applying from a defensive standpoint, and as it translated to offense. And I think we were starting to slow it down a little bit just in terms of taking care of the basketball, but still playing at that frenetic pace to really push it on the offensive side, and then just playing really aggressive defense, from baseline to baseline. And I think that gave Northern Kentucky a lot of trouble last night. We had an early run in the first half where the suffocating defense just turned into immediate offense, and quickly got to be a 30-plus point lead in the first half, and then obviously just maintained that as we went into the second half. But got a lot of opportunities for the depth of our team that I think our fans are starting to see to play. So we played a lot of players last night. And it was a lot of fun. It was really good basketball. Multiple times you had a standing ovation for the team as Northern Kentucky had to call a timeout just to catch a break. So that's always a good sign of an aggressive and tenacious team trying to figure out their identity early on in the season, and really pleased with their effort to start the year 3-0.
And Brady Sallee in the post-game press conference dropped a 6-7 reference. So I think that it was a win all across the board yesterday.
I saw that. He may or may not have embarrassed himself, but that's okay. I'll talk to him about that later.
I don't think he was embarrassing, Jeff. I'll go on the other side. I think Carson Norman was embarrassed in the moment, sitting to his right, but that was and Brees Salamine to his left. That was pretty hilarious. It's already going viral, by the way. So
It was a funny moment, and with Carson and Bree and the level of energy that they bring to our team, I certainly understand why Coach Saleh is in the mood that he's in. It's awesome.
Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Just talking women's basketball after the 3-0 start, 1-0 at home. First home game was yesterday. They dominated Northern Kentucky on the way to a victory, scoring 95 points. On the women's volleyball front, Jeff, this is a Mid-American Conference regular season championship team. Only one loss in conference play with 2 matches to go this week in the regular season. This group did some special things this year in a year where they had to navigate quite a bit.
Well, they did. They faced a lot of adversity, especially early on in the non-conference schedule. Coach Kelly Miller-Phillips does a great job in terms of preparing her teams year in, year out for conference play, and that means you play a tough non-conference schedule. And we were developing an identity early on as we were without 3 key players, and that has been the case all season long. And so to bring along a young group and to gel at the right time, to use your word, Mick, was very special. And they've continued to grow and develop. Excited for them to finish the regular season in Worthen Arena in front of a home crowd against Central Michigan later today and again tomorrow as they prepare for the conference championships next week, the conference tournament. We will play as the number 1 seed. We'll play next Saturday to begin the championship out at Bowling Green. But our team is very focused right now, and I can read that through the intensity of Coach Kelly Miller-Phillips and the vibe that she's presenting to her team and the way they've been practicing this week and the level of preparation that they will exhibit going into the tournament. And that starts tonight against Central Michigan, and they want to play well. They want to continue to improve over the next week or plus, and I really look forward to seeing them compete tonight in Worthen Arena.
Women's volleyball now 52nd in the RPI. They are 19-9, so on the cusp of another 20-win season under head coach Kelly Miller-Phillips. Just an electric season for this Cardinals squad, 19-9 overall, but again, just the 1 loss in Mid-American Conference play. Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Jeff, with this volleyball team only having the 2 more home games left on the schedule, you mentioned the tournament that's going to be on the road this year. That opens the door for more home events taking place for other sports. Men's basketball is one of those teams. Has a home event Saturday against Arkansas Little Rock. They look to bounce back after the Wisconsin trip, but so far for men's basketball, what have you seen there?
Well, I think we've been very pleased with the defensive effort. And, I know Coach Lewis has talked about that he was unclear what he was going to get on that end of the floor. And I think he's been pleasantly surprised. I thought, despite the fact that we had some matchup problems at Wisconsin, it was a very good top 25 ranked basketball team. I thought we had some moments where we defended well and were moving the ball well on the offensive side. Shots really didn't fall for us the other night. But I think as we continue, much like the women's basketball team, to develop a rhythm and an identity of who we are, that we'll be able to make that defensive effort turn into a smoother offensive effort. And we got a great opportunity on Saturday at home to do that. We played really well so far at home, which has been fun to watch our guys play. And it's a big day Saturday, of course, Mick, with the home football game at noon. And our fans can go home and grab a snack, maybe a quick nap before they come back to Worthen Arena to watch men's basketball. But looking forward to playing a good Arkansas Little Rock team, and excited to see our guys get back out there and continue to improve because it's a fun group to watch, athletic, and I think they are beginning to identify, who they are. That's going to take a few more games as we continue to learn and grow and develop, but looking forward to watching them compete again on Saturday.
We have Ball State Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell live on This Week in Ball State Sports with us, November 13th edition of the show. Jeff, you mentioned it's Saturday football, noon kickoff. Men's basketball, 7 o'clock tip-off on Saturday. That's a fun-filled day. What's that like for the staff of athletics to make a day like that run, especially with two events that are high profile like that?
Well, I appreciate that question, Mick. I'm very proud of our staff. These talented women and men do a lot of work behind the scenes, and that's an administrative function, that's a support staff function, that's folks in our equipment room, our sports medicine staff, our strength and conditioning staff. There's a lot of moving parts on any given day in the Department of Athletics, and especially on game day, and especially when you have two major events. And it's going to stress them a little bit, and I use stress not in a way that implies that the day will be stressful. It will just be impactful in terms of spreading obligations across two different venues, and again across games that require a lot of attention. And football certainly does. Men's basketball certainly does, just in terms of the volume of people that we'll expect in those venues. And we have great partners with our sports facilities group. And so I really am proud of the level of detail and preparation that has gone into planning for Saturday. You know, the game times weren't announced until about 10 days ago, and that's for TV purposes. And we were able to influence a little bit when we hoped those game times would be, just so that we could create enough space for our staff and our fans to be able to enjoy the home football game at noon and then the basketball game at 7. And of course, you know, Mick, you and your broadcast crews, you've been making special arrangements as well so that we could ensure that we had proper coverage on the TV side for football and for basketball. So there's a lot of moving parts on these games when it's just one, right? It's much more so when there's two, and our staff is a devoted group. They do great work, and we're excited about Saturday, and they will certainly look forward to some rest as we go into the rest of the weekend. But especially the way the day on Saturday is shaping up weather-wise.
Can you believe that?
Probably an unseasonably warm mid-November afternoon with, I think, a projected 65 degrees at kickoff for the football game. That's delightful. So
yeah, it is.
We expect a bunch of people out to watch us play on senior day for football, and then come on in as it begins to cool off a little bit to the warm confines of Worthen Arena, and let's have some fun watching basketball too. It
probably feels like Mississippi in this time of year, 65 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good for me.
Jeff Mitchell, Director of Athletics, joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. We'll step aside, come back, and have Jeff come back for our final segment as well, talk football and much more. That is all next on This Week in Ball State Sports.
Behind every strong shoulder,
good catch.
Behind every strong team is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Final segment this morning on This Week in Ball State Sports, as we're quickly approaching Thanksgiving and holiday season in just a few weeks. Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell was on last segment, and he's with us here to finish out the show as well. Jeff, appreciate you sticking around, and we were talking about the busy day coming up on Saturday with football at noon and basketball at 7 o'clock. Football team is 4-5, 3-2 inside the Mid-American Conference. One last game against Kent State, 17-13. How excited are you for this team to be back at Shubin Stadium for one more go?
Well, I think we play well at home, and certainly exciting to play in front of your home fans. And again, it's going to be a beautiful day for football on Saturday. So looking forward to seeing the guys compete. We've had an opportunity to rest up a little bit after a little mini bye with Maction last Wednesday against Kent State. And, Coach Uremovich has talked about the level of detail and preparation that's gone into this game, and had a couple extra days to prepare for it, which is really helpful. But I like the way this team is competing, and excited to see them play on Saturday.
He had mentioned it, that he's taking it one game, one day at a time. From a big picture standpoint, though, I want to talk to you about this. How incredible has it been to watch this team fight like it has on a week-to-week basis, especially overcoming adversity after a loss, coming back home, finding a way to win games, with 3 games to go, right in the thick of so much opportunity here in this stretch run?
Well, I think it goes back to what Coach Uremovich said at his opening press conference after he got hired, is that we are going to work diligently to ensure that we can win games in the fourth quarter. And so to give your guys a chance game in, game out is important. It's important for their psyche. It's important in terms of the level of detail, again, with which you practice. And our team practices really, really hard. They're very physical in practice during game week. And, of course, it's done in a way that's healthy to prepare the guys for Saturday. But it's a physical practice. And so, in my opinion, I think they're in shape and ready to win games in the fourth quarter. And Mick, as long as you've been at Ball State and seen football games in the MAC, you know that games are often won and lost in the first or in the fourth quarter. And so for us, I think that mentality shift has been really important, and the guys have bought into it, and they understand that you have a chance to win the ball game in the fourth quarter, and that's the mentality. And so to see that for the most part throughout the year has been a great sign, and I think our guys are encouraged about the opportunity where they stand. And the Mid-American Conference is a really interesting league, no different than some other leagues in terms of just anything can happen on any given weekend, and in the case of the MAC, sometimes during the middle of the week. But our guys are ready to compete, and I think that's all you can ask for going into a football game in November, is to play a meaningful game and looking to get to 5-5 and go into the next week after that. But I'm kind of like Coach Uremovich, really focused on Saturday, Mick.
Saturday's a big one. Ball State, Eastern Michigan, noon kickoff, Schumann Stadium. If you haven't got your tickets, go ahead, check out ballstatesports.com or call 888-BSU-TICKETS. With how things fell yesterday in the Mid-American Conference standings, I know you and Coach are focused week to week. I'll look at the big picture here. Ball State can be the 6th team in the MAC to sit at 4-2 with the win on Saturday, and all 6 of those teams will be one game back of Western Michigan for the top spot with 2 weeks to go in the college football season. A lot to still figure out, but Ball State 1 game away from being 500, 1 game away from being at 4-2 in league play, with 2 games to go on the road against Toledo and Miami. All right, Jeff, before we let you go here, any final thoughts on this week in Ball State sports? We got a minute to go.
Well, this is a big week for us. Obviously had a great women's basketball game last night, 2 volleyball matches, 1 tonight, 1 tomorrow night, and the doubleheader feature with football and men's basketball on Saturday. So I invite our fans to come and enjoy us at any and all events. And we may butcher the word of the day, but I think our conversation has been exoteric in nature and very inviting. And so I hope that our fans that have listened feel compelled to come and attend our games, and that they've understood everything that we've said, and will want to make a weekend of Ball State athletics and join us for the fun.
That was a mic drop by Director of Athletics, Jeff Mitchell. Jeff, thank you for the word of the day. Thank you for your extra time today. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mick. Go Cards.
That's Director of Athletics, Jeff Mitchell. Always a great guest, and we appreciate him thoroughly getting in that word of the day to help out Coach you and myself with that one today. Special thank you to Leslie Griffin, our producer. That does it for November 13th. Check out this replay and all other replays of This Week in Ball State Sports. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search This Week in Ball State Sports. Cardinals fans, we'll talk with you next week, 9 to 9:30 on This Week in Ball State Sports.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports. The preceding has been a Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network presentation on 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, WMUN.